Still going on with the Freelancers Summit 2023, and super excited for you to be still here. We're about halfway through the summit, and with me here I have Vivens, and I also have John. They'll introduce themselves. Our theme for this year is freelancing, entrepreneurship, and beyond. And one of the things that we're super excited to be talking about is freelancing in general. Like, how do you become an effective freelancer? Is it better to work from home? Do you need a workspace? Things like that. And the team that I have here are experts in the place and the space, and they're going to be helping us tackle those questions. So yeah, John, you can start by introducing yourself.
Yeah, great to be here, Tony. Thanks for having me. I'm here together with the Vivens. So a bit about me. I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Workmanure. So Workmanure, what is it? It's a very simple platform. If you want to hire, for example, 5 people from South Africa or Philippines or Bulgaria, it's going to tell you how you do it. Do you do it by independent contractor, employer of record, or do you open a legal entity? Or if somebody's temporarily working in a different country, has it got a digital nomad visa? So we automate all of the tax, employment law, and immigration challenges around that in an algorithm, and then display a very simple dashboard that gets you straight away to the answer. So that's a little bit about me. My own background prior to Workmanure is I was previously in the corporate world, so a 15-year career. I was a senior finance leader of a $4 billion division of a FTSE 100 company, so I got to see a lot of these challenges up front. And of course, I've been freelancing myself as well, and for me, I'm a very, very big proponent of it. So great to be back.
Great. Thank you so much, Vivens.
Okay, nice. Great to be here. Thanks for having me. Vivens here, and I'm the CEO of Morava. Morava in English means courageous, and we are just building a talent marketplace and workforce outsourcing platform, and we are powering this with AI. Simply, we enable companies to find and work with Africa's talents, mainly in the digital economy. We are looking at the workforce around the tech, digital media and communications, and research and data. And to companies, we are becoming a one-stop shop for them to access all types of the workforce they want, moving from freelancers, service providers, consultants, as well as even the permanent hires, and now to talents and even students. We are becoming more of now a bridge to getting them into really the career they want, especially looking at how they have to be really embarking on skills development ahead of time so that they can be matched with their future and dream career opportunities. And I think we are on a good track so far. In less than 2 years, we matched more than 400 talents with job opportunities in Rwanda and also to other African countries and also even around the world. And that's normally the brief around what we do. Thank you.
Got you. So our topic today is freelancing for students, graduates, building ventures. So I guess I'll start with you, Vivens, to talk about what freelancing is first of all, and what are the advantages. Talk about the flexibility, the ability to work remotely, and to improve your work-life balance. So just a quick run through of what freelancing is and why you would encourage people to get into freelancing.
Absolutely, thank you. From a talent perspective, it's all about really, when you talk about the freelancing, not from a general definition, but from practical and what it is. I consider it as really a good framework around really being rich in skills, because most of the times when you decided to be a freelancer, first of all, you are accepting to be a service provider. And when you're a service provider, the only why people are coming to you to request the services, they are considering you maybe to cure the pain, the headache maybe they are having. And most of the times, it means that a good framework for building really your career and even developing skills, especially when it comes to the students and even these young graduates. And looking at how it is very important, it's because most of the times, this is something which will not require you be maybe asked a lot of really academic background, to be asked more of really different big frameworks around. Sometimes it's all about making sure that if you're a graphic designer, if you are a transcriber, or maybe if you're a translator or web developer, it requires to show or demonstrate, this is what I have experienced to do. Maybe this is my portfolio. And from there, you will get an opportunity. And another thing which is very important around it is something which really enable you to build your capacity very well. Because at the end of the day, when you are delivering the services, you want to be efficient, you want those people to come back, you want those people to refer you. It means you invest in skills, in the capacity without anyone coming to remind you that please do this, do this. It's up to you to say, I want more clients, I want more expertise, and I want to make sure that I can probably leverage on the growth around, and it's good because it's a borderless, space where you can be here in Rwanda and you are able to service the global markets, which bring rich experience as well to someone. That's something I can comment about that. Yeah, thank you.
Understood. I do like, the work that John is doing at Work From Anywhere. And, just like, Vivens has been talking about, freelancing, sometimes you don't know what to expect. And, Work From Anywhere is building, that technology for you to say, if I want to be a digital nomad, if I want to move to Namibia, if I want to move to Rwanda where Vivens is, what should I expect? So I guess some of the question that I have for John is, if you're a digital nomad or someone who's looking to get into freelancing, what should you expect? And, from your experience and the data that you have been gathering so far, which African countries have been promoting digital nomadism?
Well, it's a great question. So I think one of the things I'm going to show you here, I'm going to share my screen. We actually, if you can enable screen sharing, Tanya, for a second, we actually wrote an article we published today with some of the most recent statistics. So I'm going to walk everyone through this to kind of set the context a little bit. So if I just open up my screen, here we go. So the first thing is what you can see here is back in the early 2000s, in the 90s, independent contractors were used quite a bit, but it's quite interesting. In a lot of countries, self-employment as a percent of total employment actually went down because a lot of countries were trying to basically encourage independent contractors to actually become full-time employees, because a lot of countries were losing the tax, let's say, dollars, Social Security and whatnot. And so there was a push for about a decade to try and pull people out of independent contractor. But what's happened in the meantime in more recent years is there's been a big push. You can see with, let's say, the gig economy, particularly, for example, transportation sector, there's been more independent contractors and freelancing in that particular sector. But where it gets really interesting now is that if you see independent contractors, the world of talent is going to go increasing again and again and again. You see it here from a World Economic Forum article that was published in the last 2 days. Take a look at this. Like, where is the next billion workers going to come from? Well, it's going to come from a lot of these countries, from Africa, the continent, from the continent of Asia, and you can see South and Central America as well. That's where most of the new talent is going to come from. And of course, how you engage that talent is the next question. In some cases, it'll be by opening up a legal entity. In some cases, it'll be using an employer of record, which are becoming used more and more. And in some cases, it will be used as an independent contractor. And where I'd like to kind of bring in the bigger picture of that is that if you look at, this is a really good one from Mercer. Previously, companies would just hire fixed jobs because they had fixed roles, fixed tasks, or fixed jobs, which made sense for many decades. But what we're seeing now is companies are becoming more and more like a game of Lego, where you're plugging in, you have tasks that need to be done, and you need to find the skills to match those tasks. And you need to monitor yourself and have the data around internally, where are your skills for various different tasks, but you also need to plug in external tasks as well. So for example, if you need to get a mergers and acquisition analyst for maybe 12 weeks, you don't need to hire somebody for that. They'll be very, very expensive. Instead, you could go into a number of, for example, the African countries, for example, and get somebody in there as an analyst, as a freelancer for those few weeks, and you'll won't have a massive risk of independent contractor classification. Of course, you'll have a few different, let's say, legal and other risks you need to, and tax risks you need to watch out for. But in general, the point I'm trying to make here is that this is where we see that future going from a fixed to a flow, and it will have a massive, let's say, impact and a huge opportunity for many African countries.
Got you. Yeah, thank you for sharing, the data. Because I know I'm based here in Harare, Zimbabwe, and freelancing has been growing a lot, particularly over the past 2 years. And now, I think the very first Freelancers Summit we had, probably like 12 people show up. And this year we're expecting at least, 1,000 people virtually, at least 200 people in person. That's part of the thing that shows, the growth. And one thing that I would like us to Vivens is around how the freelancing ecosystem is, the tech ecosystem is in Rwanda. You're based in Kigali, right? I think you're on mute. Yeah.
Thanks. Especially when it comes to Rwanda, first of all, as a country with good security is of doing business, many companies, even that wanted to invest in East Africa, they wanted to probably set their headquarters of Africa in Kigali. And most of the times, as the company, which is really good in terms of internet connectivity and even accessibility of digital tools, laptops, tablets, phones, now many people are moving online and even to the digital world and to digital workplaces. Then when it comes into tech and the freelancing ecosystem here in Rwanda, you find that now more and more tech and the digital-based talents are having probably more than one job. They are maybe full-time in a certain corporate here or even in a certain startup, but they are also at Morava looking for further freelancing and remote opportunities in our partner companies, which are either in Africa and even to America and Europe. So then you find that really the ecosystem is growing faster. And when you look at post-pandemic, that was the drive. Before, a few software developers were aware of the freelancing ecosystem, were more of the opportunities around remote working, but post-pandemic, now many people are like, please, we need more than one job, or we won't even need to move from corporate one to delivering, to doing more than two opportunities. Maybe I can be freelancing to multiple companies and organizations. You see that it's growing, and even from the country itself, you find that it's now really something to grow massively. Yeah, thank you.
Great. I think one thing that I would like, our audience to hear from John is around how do you manage, work-life balance as a freelancer. I still work from home, but I just got, I have a 1-year-old daughter, blessings. But, she now knows that this is my office. So every now and then she comes, starts to knock. So I'm like, I probably have to start to work from the office now. But, that's just some of the things that freelancers go through. How, from your experience, how do you, manage, time management, work-life balance, making sure you're getting the work done, making sure, you're spending time with your family, and things like that, and getting some sleep as well. Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things, linking back to some of the previous data that I showed, what it shows is that obviously a huge amount of talent in Africa, but a lot of the opportunities for companies who want to be hiring will be companies, for example, in the likes of Europe and in the US. And so that is going to create, in many cases, a kind of a time, let's say sometimes a bit of a time difference of a challenge in some cases. So, but for me, I mean, I found it in my kind of career to be wonderful to be able to have that flexibility. For example, being able to have the mornings free, go down to the beach, spend time with the kids. For me, what's been really important, I have kids. I mean, every individual is different. People from different countries have a different outlook on life and what's important to them. What you see is that in many countries, they might be more individualistic, maybe more with themselves, whereas in others, they might be more collectivistic, they might be more, closer to their family. So spending time with their family is important. I mean, certainly for me, as an individual, I really need to be able to spend time with my family. It's a really, really important part of my own identity. And so making time for them. So when the kids come home, I want to be able to spend that time with them or walk down to the beach with them. But I think that's the beauty about freelancing, or being your own entrepreneur. It gives you the flexibility to decide how you want to build your own blocks of time and how you go about it. Now, I'm not going to lie, obviously, it also means that there's a wave of demand, that sometimes you get opportunities and it means it's going to be punching in the hours. There could be some late nights. But again, at least you're the one that's in control of it. And I think as a freelancer, it's so critical to have multiple revenue streams, so that you have revenue streams that are related to your consulting, for example, that you might do. That's you working one-on-one, for example, punching in the hours. But also, let's say, online revenue streams or investments or something that can be generating in some kind of revenue that's working while you're sleeping. That could be maybe an ebook or maybe a course or whatnot. Just go into ChatGPT and play around and try come up with ideas. But I think the ultimate holy grail for freelancers, being able to have either some side gigs that are generating some revenue for you, as well as your core freelancing career. But ultimately, the goal for all of us should be to try and generate some kind of business that can be working while we're sleeping, to give you the most, let's say, work-life balance that you could ever imagine.
Understood. That's super helpful. Because I'm someone who's working like different time zones, but my mornings are super clear for, because most of our customers are Eastern Standard Time and PT. So, that's something, I experience on a daily basis. So I guess my next question to Vivens, what are the two things that you would advise someone who, is working corporate, a 9-to-5 job, who wants to transition to freelancing, the two things that you recommend them to make sure they consider before they do that?
Okay. From the experience of what we have been seeing with really these digital nomads whom we have been working together with, the one thing, first of all, is to start experiencing freelancing and the remote working opportunities still at the time when they are still really in their corporate job, so that they get used to it. Because I can bet when you are in a bank and you are maybe doing accounting and doing more of a financial maybe analysis, when you are doing it internally in your company, in a certain company, it's different from really coming to be a service provider of accounting and financial analysis services. It requires a different level of expertise and maturity. Now you are more of owning the delivery, while in a company, you also even have someone to hold you accountable. So it's a different setting. I can, first of all, of course, as I said, first they can start experiencing that from their own jobs. And then another second thing is making sure that being a freelancer, you are self-employed. That's a business you are driving. So when they come as well, they might be coming to ensure that how do we package very well our services and expertise. So you understand the packaging of their skills, how they can monetize their skills is very crucial. And when you are aware about your package, it's easy for you to know this is how I can diversify your book for more gigs, more projects, and even really doing the more reach out to different clients who might be in need of me. So those are the two things I can recommend for someone who wanted to move from corporate to joining the freelancing ecosystem. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. I do like the first point, like, you're still working for a company, you now start to, do some freelancing gigs on the side, start to know how it works, because I think there's this thought that freelancing is easy. It's not easy. It's
complex,
fun, but at the same time, it's still work. You still have to get work done, and there are challenges that come with any work anywhere in the world, anywhere you're working or who you're working with. So those are some things that you start by working your main job, experiment with freelancing. If that starts to take off, you build your portfolio there, and now you get more clients because every client will ask you who or where you have done this before. Can I see the work that you've done before? So yeah, building a portfolio is the second thing that it's a takeaway from what you've just said. So yeah, thank you guys. What I want to do now is to just give you an opportunity, a minute or two, to talk about what our audience would expect from you, say in the next 2 months, how to reach out to you. I'll start with John.
Yeah, very simply, if you have any companies that you're working for that are not certain about how they hire from different countries, then tell them to feel free to reach out. We basically can help them understand what is the operating model. We either do consultancy or we have our own platform that will help them get the answers in 60 seconds. The great thing, if you have any companies that are not sure about this, they can get a free trial for 7 days, cost them absolutely nothing, and they can get the answers themselves. So the website is wfa.team. They can go on there and take a look, and happy to help out.
Great. Thank you so much, Vivens.
Okay, nice. Of course, for especially talents or even some other people who wanted to join, especially freelancing and remote working environment on our side, we always really promise these people that we can enable you to find job opportunities or training opportunities, because many will come without having probably even the skills of what it takes, but they are committed to learn. And even we can recommend them where the job market is going around the skills they wanted to acquire. So, of course, to the talents, to reach out to us, it's simple. It's umurava.africa. So that's the web, and looking at how, again, when it comes to companies and organizations, and as Freeprox is doing it as well, and which I feel like in the future will partner in one way or another. Yeah. Because I'm sure that we are not more of a competitors, but there is a way we'll partner. Maybe I will share with you the course with around how we can do it. The same with John as well. So when if the companies are here and they need the quality talents, we are always here to serve them, either making sure that we understand what they're looking for, so that we can do the better matching of really the talents who can deliver the perfect services, even who can deliver the jobs very well. And also for the people who want to connect with me on LinkedIn, it's Vivens Uwizyimana, and I'm always open to any communication. This being company, being a talent as well, I'm always ready to chat with someone. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. This is amazing. Thank you guys for talking to our audience. The topic was freelancing for students, graduates, building ventures. So if you're a student, just like we mentioned, when you're working in corporate, you can do freelancing on the side. When you're a student, you can also do freelancing on the side, so that by the time you graduate, you can probably transition to this full-time. So thanks a lot, John. Thanks a lot, Vivens, for joining us. And thanks to our audience. Any questions, drop them in the comment section. Let's move on to the next session. Thank you.
Thank you.